This is a good question from Raise the Flags, and I'll let you two answer this. I can't judge my own.
Who has the better ankles, Matt Prater or Matt Berry?
Yeah, it's a good question.
You know what, actually?
Matt Prater today after that performance.
Everything that happened in that game, which was so ridiculous and one of the most just surreal football games you'll ever see, the fact that Kyle Hamilton didn't block the field goal, like in real time, Kyle Hamilton was like minus 1,000 to block that field goal. He got a hand on it.
Yeah.
The ball moved.
Right.
And so I just don't understand how it wasn't blocked. Anyway, that was just one of 8,000 things that was wild about that game.
And the other thing is that as awesome as a game as that was on NBC and Peacock, I'm a company man, as awesome as that game was, guys, I don't know that there's a ton of takeaways from it because it was such a bat blank crazy game.
It was a fantasy powerhouse game.
It was an insane game, right? And I mean, my Twitter blew up from people that like they were dead and they were done, and then all of a sudden they had Henry or they had Allen or they had Lamar or Zay Flower, like so many superstars from that game, like including, by the way, Roto Pat, who I had Derrick Henry and I was feeling pretty good. But then Roto Pat and his Josh Allen.
The old Josh Allen trick.
Yeah. Well, oh, my God. Anyway, and of course, I had a 0 from Xavier Worthy. So, anyway, I'm 0-1 in the League of Assholes despite having like the third or fourth highest score in the league because Roto Pat had Josh Allen. You just sort of see the fantasy goodness there as well. 6 different players over 20 points. Josh Allen, Lamar, of course. Derrick Henry mentioned Zay Flowers. But Keon Coleman and James Cook, welcome to the party. It was nice to see Dalton Kincaid get into the end zone. And how about DeAndre Hopkins? Not done yet. People had thought he was unbelievable. Josh Palmer with a nice debut for the Bills as well, I should say. So let's talk. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, Josh Allen threw for almost 400 yards. He threw 46 attempts.
Yeah, let's hear from Josh Allen on what was a wild game and Keon Coleman break.
Yes.
No one on the sideline blinked. Down 15 points, whatever we were, with 5-6 minutes left, staying with it. Fans leaving, the stadium. You got to play this game for 60 minutes, and that's a really good outfit that we just played. And God willing, we take care of business how we're supposed to, and how we think we will. It's probably a team we'll see again. So. They're a greatly coached team. Hats off to them for having a really good game plan. But we stuck in there, and I'm just proud of our guys.
What about Keon? Everybody's talking about him stepping up this year. What about what he did for you tonight?
He stepped up for us. He made some good plays. Proud of him.
That didn't seem like that didn't seem like a full-throated endorsement. That was like, he stepped up.
I think he was exhausted. I think Josh Allen was exhausted after.
The adrenaline finally wore off.
Yeah.
He might have been 24% target share. That was a team high. And 94% route participation for Keon Coleman. That was great. Got 2 end zone targets. It was 50% of the team's end zone targets. But if there's one concern here about Keon Coleman, guys, he had of his 8 catches that he had in this game, 7 of them came in the fourth quarter when they were in crazy comeback mode. That's not how the Bills want to play the majority of the year, and that's not how they're going to have to play the majority of the year. They want to be more balanced. They want to be more run heavy. Not a run heavy team, but they want to be more run heavy than they were last night.
Yeah, I think it's just, again, folds into the fact that I think there's a lot of small takeaways. Like Dalton Kincaid looked spry and looked good and looked healthier as we expected him to be. James Cook got a lot of work in the receiving game. Again, a small thing. Like Keon Coleman, so much of it was out of structure, these crazy plays. I do think it's a good sign that Keon Coleman, he seems to be on the same mental wavelength with Josh Allen on these crazy Josh Allen out of structure plays, which is not the easiest thing. But yeah, I don't think that, going forward, it's like, Keon Coleman definitely locked in. Josh Allen's wide receiver 1 every single week. I think it's going to be a little dispersed.
But you know what? I do think that at least, again, the numbers are all inflated because it was just a bizarre game. I mean, like 81 points were scored in this game. Like I can't imagine what the over-under was 50. Right. It's like 51.5. So I mean, like I wondered if you've taken an alt line of like over 80, what kind of odds you would have gotten there. But what I will say is that. We did get it's going to be Coleman and Palmer on the outside and Shakir in the slot, right? Palmer and Shakir each get 9 targets. Coleman gets the 11. Again, those numbers are inflated because they were so pass heavy, but that's going to be the thing. I mean, Kincaid, even in a game in which he passed almost 50 times, Kincaid got 4 targets. I mean, so I do think the passing game, at least we got some narrowness to, and Curtis Samuel was out, but still, it feels like at least we have a better sense of what the Bills' passing attack is.
I think the big thing for all these Week 1 games is how an offense's usage and who gets usage in a given game is so much dictated by the opponent, and we've only seen one opponent for each of these teams. Like, Josh Allen was just going after whoever Jay Alexander was on. And it's going to be hard for Dalton Kincaid when he's going up against a team that has Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton patrolling the middle of the field. So let's see what it looks like, next week against the Jets.
I think one we can question, though, a little bit in this game right now, Jay, is Mark Andrews at this point. Because now we're starting to get a larger sample size of just, is Mark Andrews just not that guy in terms of how much you can count on him as a tight end in fantasy anymore?
Yeah, I think that, look, it's suddenly a crowded pass-catching room, which the thing was, it wasn't for Mark Andrews for so long. His competition, when he was peak Mark Andrews, was like Devin Duvernay. But now it's like, all right.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar.
Exactly. Just the revolving door of Lamar Jackson's wide receivers. Hollywood Brown was like the big competition.
Yep.
And now it's like, okay, well, Zay Flowers looked incredible. Rashad Bateman has taken a huge leap as a player. Isaiah Likely is going to come back. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a real part of this offense. And then also they have possibly the best running back in football, the fumble notwithstanding at the end. So this offense is just completely loaded. I think that there are weeks where Mark Andrews will have good games and explosive receptions, but I don't think that he is a guy that you want to count on week in, week out. I
mean, look, for as crazy as the game is, Lamar Jackson only attempted 19 passes, but, he was targeted once on 15 routes. Mark Andrews was 5% target share, had a under 70% route participation, played 76% of the snaps. And by the way, one of my bets, part of my parlay on Football Night in America, one of the legs was 4 receptions for Mark Andrews. Because obviously that didn't cash. The argument that I made was he had a 22% target share last year when Isaiah Likely was out, the 4 games that Likely missed. And in this game, he got a 5% target share. He is a touchdown-dependent tight end, and there's a lot of them, right? But that's basically all he is. If you're starting Mark Andrews, he needs to get in the end zone for him to pay off. Anovax Card says Mark Andrews will get his. He was open a few times last night. He was, but so were other guys. To the point is there's a lot more competition for targets on a team that wants to run and can run. That's the problem here with Mark Andrews.
It's a matchup that you actually like, because if you're going to look at weaknesses of the Bills, sometimes it is the middle of the field. They've had some problems at safety, so this is definitely one to keep an eye on, and you might have to make a quick pivot early in the season.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.